Hey guys, this is the third and final video on secondary sources, and so I'm going to take you all the way down the list to the bottom where you will find the Thomson Gale databases. I actually really like this one a lot. The password is Empire Link. There's a multitude of options under this particular database, but I'll show you the one that happens to be one of my faves. When you get into Thomson, there's a lot of material. You have to scroll all the way down. You'll see this little blue bar, and you know you're getting close to the bottom. The one that, obviously Gale literature was also on the other Gale group, and that's going to be fine. But the one that I really want to encourage you to try is the Gale Literature Resource Center, the LRC, Literature Resource Center. Obviously, this will be worthwhile. And even Lit Finder is good because that'll give you poems if you can't find primary sources, but we're not necessarily up to that right now. We're still working on secondary sources, actually, meaning the criticisms that are available based on your particular poet. So I'm going to click on Gale Literature Resource Center, and it'll look something like this. And since we've been working with Edwin Arlington Robinson, I'm going to continue to type that name in. And when I click on that, I will get lots of information, and all of the literary criticism will come up, and there's 26 different articles. But again, the overviews are really a fine place to start. So if you want to click on that, once again, we have listings of poems, 2 of them actually. And we just looked at something on Miniver-Chivi. So I'm going to actually skip that one right now. Let's do one of the overviews that involves Richard Cory. So I'll click on this one. This is a relatively short article. It continues past the page or past what you could see here, but nonetheless it is pretty short. And I scroll through it and I'm looking for something that I can use as a possible theme. And so I actually am right in this opening paragraph here, and I'm looking at this line. The very embodiment of the materialistic dream. Cory kills himself for some unspecified reason, perhaps a spiritual emptiness or an alienation from his fellow human beings. Now, I actually remember hearing something about alienation before, so maybe this is starting to develop a pattern for me, but I like this. I'm going to make myself a note card, meaning, once again, a note card is a direct quote from a particular article or a book, and my number in the corner is going to be 3 because this happens to be the 3rd article that I've consulted. So my card will look something like this. I'm using my ellipses because I'm not including a certain portion of that sentence, but I'm copying from that point onward verbatim. Cory kills himself for some unspecified reason. Perhaps it's a spiritual emptiness or an alienation from his fellow human beings. In parentheses, I put the word online because there's no pagination when you're dealing with an online source. For my own edification, I'm just writing RC because I want to remember this deals with Richard Cory. The number in the corner will correspond to my source card when the time comes and I'm ready to do the works cited information. But let's say there's more in this article that I like. I even might take something from here. So perhaps, let's see. Richard Cory's place during his life was to be a kingly, upper-class, wealthy gentleman in fine clothes, but after the suicide, his place is a grave. I like that. I'm going to make myself another note card, same number in the corner, number 3. I'm going to copy it verbatim, and I'll show you what it looks like in just one second. But because I'm at the end of the article, as luck would have it, I also have my citation right here too. So this is the perfect information that I'm going to need to put on my source card. But once again, remember, I can stop at the .com and skip this material and just conclude with the access date. So This would be an example of another note card, the one that we just looked at. His place during his life was to be a kingly, upper-class, wealthy gentleman in fine clothes, but after the suicide, his place is a grave. I have the number 3. I have the word online. I know it's Richard Corey because it actually says it there, so I don't need the brackets down here. Life is good. And here is an example of my source card. Remember what I just did? I basically copied the entry that they gave me with great attention to the punctuation marks that they're using for a title within a title, and then underlining things that would normally be in italics if I were at a computer. So therefore, I have this as my source card, and I would have had those other 2 cards with the number 3 in the corner to represent 2 DQs, 2 direct quotes or note cards. So hopefully that helps. Feel free to come and see me if you have any questions about any dead ends that you may hit or any kind of confusion you have. But stick to the library websites because everything there is authoritative and everything there is scholarly. And I caution you, if you Google your author's name, you're going to find tons of information, but a good portion of it will not be eligible to use because it's not necessarily recognized by an authoritative source. Okay, so good luck and let me know if you need help.